Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. This week's article is Supporting Brother Washington's Vision for a University in the Nation's Capital, the Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction's long-standing relationship with GWU, by Brother John Leonard, 32nd degree, and comes from the March-April 2024 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. One of the largest gifts in the history of the Scottish Rite Supreme Council, 33rd degree Southern Jurisdiction, went to the George Washington University for the foundation of a school of government nearly 100 years ago. The reasons for this contribution trace back to the earliest years of our nation and the university, which today is in its 222nd year of existence. During the past 2 centuries, strong bonds developed one of the closest relationships to be found in our country between the Masonic fraternity and a university. In his last will and testament, George Washington, America's foremost Freemason, included a bequest of 50 shares in the Potomac Canal Company to be used to establish a national university in the newly founded capital city. Unfortunately, no action was taken by Congress, and the shares became worthless after the company dissolved. In 1822, Brother Luther Rice founded the Columbian College to serve as the college for the District of Columbia. The college's congressional charter was approved by President James Monroe and included a special provision that the school would be non-sectarian and that no student or professor should be refused admittance on account of his sentiments in matters of religion. Monroe, Henry Clay, and the Marquis de Lafayette were just a few of the Masons who attended the college's first commencement ceremony in 1824. The first president of the college, William Stoughton, was also a Freemason. The name of the institution would be changed to the George Washington University, GWU, in 1904 in honor of his vision for a national university. In 1927, Dr. Cloyd Heck Marvin, 33rd degree, was appointed as the president of GWU. Just after 1 month in office, he came to the biennial session and presented the Supreme Council his plans for a new school of government at the university. This school would educate young men and women on the inner workings of government as well as foreign affairs. Beyond lectures and theory, the students would gain valuable experience in government procedure that could only be realized in Washington, D.C. Grand Commander John H. Cowles, 33rd degree, was excited to be able to restore the original bequest and asked the council to approve a $1 million endowment as a memorial to George Washington, the Mason. This was approved unanimously by the Supreme Council. Commander Cowles believed GWU was the perfect choice for the endowment because the freedom of religion outlined in the university's charter aligned with the Scottish Rite values of liberty of thought and freedom of conscience. His hope was that the school would perpetuate the principles of human freedom and the rights of men as enunciated in the U.S. Constitution. In 1928, the School of Government planned to begin the academic year with 40 students, but due to the overwhelming number of applications, that total doubled to 80. By 1937, there were nearly 400 students in the program. The 10 yearly payments of $100,000 from the Scottish Rite were completed just in time for the opening of the new Hall of Government building erected to house the school. A large black plaque was placed in the building 20 years later that commemorates the Supreme Council's donation and specifically highlights Cowles and Martin's efforts. For the rest of his life, Grand Commander Cowles served on the Board of Trustees for the university and was awarded an honorary Doctor of Law degree in 1935 in recognition of his many accomplishments. 30 years after the initial endowment, the Supreme Council approved the Scottish Rite scholarships at GWU. This program continues to this day and covers up to half the cost of tuition for GWU students who are related to a Scottish Rite Mason. A reception is held every year at the House of the Temple to recognize the scholarship recipients. This year's reception, held on November 8th, was attended by Sovereign Grand Commander James D. Cole, 33rd degree, and GWU President Ellen Granberg. The School of Government was eventually split into the Elliott School of International Affairs and the School of Business in 1966. In 2009, the Colonial Lodge No. 1821 received its charter and became the first university lodge under the Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia. Former GWU President Stephen J. Trachtenberg, 33rd degree, Grand Cross, and others formed the Colonial Lodge to serve as a lodge for alumni, students, and faculty of the university, as well as Masons in the broader academic community. Colonial Lodge regularly meets at the House of the Temple, further demonstrating the strong relationship between the university and the Scottish Rite. Scottish Rite members can be very proud of the role that they played in bringing to reality a vision first established by our country's first president, Brother George Washington. For the past century, graduates of this vision have made indelible marks on our society. Truly, this is a noble accomplishment of the Rite, which, appropriately, is often referred to as the University of Freemasonry. Like and share this article, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you wish to comment, please leave one, and as a reminder, hit the notifications bell. Any accompanying photographs or citations for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, Managing Editor. I'm your host, Matt Bowers.